So you're a busy mama and you want to learn how to become a UGC creator, but you don't know where to start. I'm going to break down in this video the 5 things that you really need to know in order to get started as a UGC creator. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Cece. I'm a busy boy mom and a UGC creator. I've worked with multiple brands and made $935 as a complete beginner my very first month. So I'm going to give you the tips on how I got started and what got me there, what you need and what you don't need. So let's dive into it. So first of all, what are the basic things that you actually need in order to get started? You need to have a phone of some kind with decent camera quality to record the videos on or take selfies on, right? Because there's options like that out there as well. Number 2, you need good lighting. If you don't have lighting, that's okay. Use natural light. Number 3, you need good audio. So this is the one where it's easy to get good lighting by using natural light. If your phone's got poor audio, invest in a cheap, inexpensive mic that you can attach to your phone. You can usually get them for like $20 or something like that. You don't need something super expensive or fancy, but those are going to be 3 very, very important things in order for you to get started. Next up is the question of, do I need a portfolio or do I not need a portfolio? And my answer is it depends on the site that you're going to be connecting with brands. So there are different sites out there, and that is where I suggest you get started. Instead of trying to pitch brands yourself out the gate as a newbie, you want to instead go to platforms where brands are already looking for UGC creators, okay? Couple of beginner-friendly platforms out there are things like Join Brands and Bilio. Those are easy, beginner-friendly platforms to get started on. And they all have their own requirements, and you can build basically a portfolio within there instead of creating one outside of it on, say, Canva. But if you're going to be on other platforms like Fiverr, you're going to need to build your own portfolio. So here's a couple of tips I have if that's the route you're going, because maybe you're brand new to UGC, but you have some content creation background and you've been posting on social media, so you know a little bit about that. You might want to go for one of the platforms like Fiverr, right? So I would create the portfolio in Canva. And I would utilize things I have around my house initially in order to create the content. So you're going to come up with your About Me page, everything about you, and then you're going to showcase videos and photos of you, of content that you've created, right? So you want to think about the kinds of content that brands want. Brands want selfies with the product. Brands want, I was trying to see if I had something around me that I could hold up. We'll just use this pen as an example. If I'm trying to sell this pen, right? Like selfies with the product. So you want to take photos of pictures. You want to take pictures of flat lays of just products. You want to do things like unboxings, talking head, where you're holding up and talking about that product, right? You want to create content like that you can showcase and show that you know how to create these images and videos that they need. Because honestly, even in Join Brands, okay, which is a beginner friendly site for you, you're still gonna have to get approved for each type of content that you want to get paid to create. So you still need to know how to create that content. So that is why I say, like, if you want to get started and want to start creating a portfolio out the gate, I don't see it as a bad thing, because you're going to use things around your house to get started. That's what I did. And then as I get more brand deals, I just selectively, if I like something better, I switch that out, right? So as I go, I can pick and choose and hone in and make that portfolio better. It's like a living thing, right? Like if you think about a resume for business, like we're always updating and changing it the more experience we get, right? So that's the way I view it. Whereas, in a job, most jobs are all going to want a resume to start. So even if you don't have experience, they usually want something about your background. So then the question becomes, okay, well, what if you are absolutely brand new and you have never created a piece of content before, what do? You basically have two options. You can either go out, spend time watching and dissecting people's content so that you know how to create good content, or if you want the faster route, you get the education to teach you how to do that. That's the route I chose to take. I didn't have time to sit around and waste months trying to figure this out. I wanted to know, okay, what type of content do these brands want? How do I find these brands? Who's going to pay an average stay-at-home mama for brand deals? Like, how do I do this? I want to hit the ground running, right? And so I chose to get the education that was not only going to teach me like how to create the pitch videos for these beginner friendly websites, but like how to do the content for them as well. And then it will walk you through like how to do your portfolio and things like that. So that's your option based on your timing and how serious you are about this. Of course, you can go the free route, or you can go the paid route of getting education, but you do need to know how to create content, whether it's a selfie photo, which is of course easier, or a video that a brand is actually going to want and be able to use. So you have to have some sort of experience in that in order to showcase it, so that you get hired. So then a lot of people ask, well, what about brands? Like sometimes you'll have, if you are on social media, you'll have brands reach out to you and offer you free products for, creating a video about their product. And I would say if you're someone who's never created a video about a product before, you've never done anything like TikTok Shop, you've never promoted your own stuff on social media, I think doing a handful of those to start is a great way for you to practice, and then you could put that in your portfolio, right? Like you can either do it with stuff you've already paid for that's around your house, or if you have brands, offering you free products. If you're a complete beginner, I think it's a great way. Just think of it as this is your practice, right? You're getting a free product, choose something that you like that you're going to use, right? And take that free product and use it as your practice in order to get those paid gigs. But then once you've already gotten some paid gigs under your belt, then I would say it's not, you're going to get the paid gigs. You don't need to take on the free posting the content for free for a brand, unless it's a brand that like you really, really love and, you're hoping to work with them again someday. You do some free content and then you reach out to them after the fact, right? You like go above and beyond, reach out to them after the fact and say, hey, I'd love to continue this, but on a paid factor, and that's something you could dig into. But those are basically the basics of what you need to know to get started. So let's just recap this really quick. You need to know how to create content that brands are going to actually want to use and pay for. So you need to learn how to do that, whether you research and spend time watching people for free to do that, or if you want to fast track it, you got to get education in order to do that. I will link below in case anyone's interested, the education that I got in order to do this. Just throwing that out there in case anyone's interested. That was the choice I made, because like I said, I was a busy mama who didn't have months to figure this out. The other things you need is you need a phone, you need good lighting. You can use a window, use natural lighting. If you don't want to invest in lighting right now, you could totally get away with that. Half the time that's better than a ring light anyways. And you need good audio. So that is the one thing that I would maybe consider investing minimally in, is there something like simple that you can plug into your phone. And then a willingness to learn. That's the other thing I didn't say. Like whether you're going and you're researching and trying to figure this out on your own, or you're getting the education, like if you've never done anything like this before, it's going to be a learning curve, right? You've got to learn to do the content. You've got to learn how to work with brands. But I would say those are the basics, and then the step up after that is after you start to get some brand deals under your belt, and working with brands and getting reviews from brands, then you can be able to like reach out to the brands that you might really want to work with. And I can do a later video about something like that, because this is really just like beginner steps. Like, you've never done any of this before, maybe you've heard of it, maybe you didn't even know it was an option out there. I didn't know, an average stay-at-home mom could make money working with brands until a few months ago. Like, I thought it was only for influencers. So that is what I've got for beginner steps. That's how I got started. That is what I did. And if you have any questions, just drop them below. I'm happy to answer them. I can create another video if that's helpful on questions that you guys have.